The Great Sphinx of Giza is a monument that is an iconic symbol for the ancient Egyptian civilization. Found to be about 4,500 years old, the massive statue depicts the legendary Sphinx, a half-lion, half-human mythological creature that is common in Egyptian and Greek fable. The statue, being constructed almost entirely of limestone, has survived the cruel elements of the desert and is still standing to this day, millennia after its initial creation. For centuries, we have viewed this amazing feat of art to be a one-of-a-kind. However, what if there was more than one Sphinx monument that had been constructed by early human civilization? Such a thing would turn what we know about these ancient peoples completely on its head. Well, that very thing is alleged to have been found in Pakistan. While the Sphinx is often synonymous with the ancient Egyptian peoples, depictions of similar creatures have been present in almost every river valley civilization. They are also found in various Indian relics and art, with their name in Sanskrit being Purusha Mriga, or man-beast. They were commonly seen drawn in decorations around Hindu temples and religious sites. Even here, the image of the mighty Sphinx is virtually synonymous with being a protector of shrines and temples. Across the Arabian Sea, modern-day Pakistan is known to be host of countless archaeologically significant locations. Sites like the ancient city of Taxila, the Rohtas fort that was built by the Afghan king Sher Shah Suri, and the Mohenjo-Daro, of which the peoples of the Indus River Valley once thrived, prove that the area was vital to the beginning of human civilization. About 190 kilometers from the city of Karachi, the Hingol National Park spans nearly 6,000 kilometers of coastline and is host to a rich ecosystem of unique flora and fauna. What is most intriguing to tourists, however, is the extensive valley of rugged stone mountains that decorate the landscape. These massive spires jut out of the ground like massive needles pointing into the sky from the vast desert. These formations are due to centuries of erosion caused by ocean waves brushing away the soil over the course of millions of years. The reason for the area having such unique terrain is due to the presence of mud volcanoes, a name given to one of its many interesting geological features. The mud volcanoes, located about a kilometer from the highway belt, are natural occurring phenomena where a constant flow of mud, water, gas, and sediment is seen being spewed from the Earth's surface. The mud being expelled from unground piles up surrounding the fissure, giving it a cone-shaped volcano-like appearance. The national park is home to 18 of these mud volcanoes, and the gases are largely to blame from the accelerated wind erosion to the rock formations in the area. This leaves the surrounding area host to a variety of intriguing monuments, with 36 different rock formations being observed in the national park between the strip between Iron and Balochistan. Of these, the most popular includes the Princess of Hope, a rock formation that very closely resembles a female wearing a skirt and a crown on their head. The name was given by popular actress Angelina Jolie, who had visited the park in 2002. Another curious anomaly, which is subject to much more debate, is the controversial Balochistan Sphinx. This arrangement of rocks may appear to be much more intentional compared to those that are simple figments of optical illusion. The Sphinx appears to resemble just that, the same lion-human beast that can be found in Egypt. It even looks to be in the same pose as the structure in Giza, with its arms stretched forward in a sitting position along the ground. Following the opening of the Makran Coastal Highway in 2004, connecting the city of Gwadar to Karachi, the rock formation began to gain more attention, as it was now easy to drive through the national park area. It is now considered one of the most popular tourist attractions in the entire area. The main theory regarding the Balochistan Sphinx is that it was built from limestone approximately 4,500 years ago with the specific architects being unknown at the moment. Several historians have credited the construction of the alleged beast to Khafre, an Egyptian pharaoh that lived during 2550 BCE and is known within history books as having been the person that propagated the construction of the original Egyptian Sphinx. The difference between the two is that the Sphinx of Giza was not discovered until the 1800s due to it having been buried deep in the desert sands. This is in stark contrast to the one found in Pakistan, however, as this is virtually suspended on top of a cliff, so much so that it is noticeable by anyone driving across the stretch of highway. The thought of another massive Sphinx structure similar in scale to the one in Giza is not a new archaeological rumor. In fact, fairly recently in 2021, researchers at Zagazig University in Egypt had announced that they had recently discovered a second Sphinx in the state of Giza. This claim would ultimately be proven false, however, as it would simply be a fictitious report meant to drum up media fanfare for the university. The Sphinx, some believe, looks far too close to an actual figure to be pure coincidence. The main proprietors to the idea that the rock formation is actually artificial in nature come from primarily two people, Graham Hancock and Bibhu Dev Mishra. Graham Hancock, a sociology graduate who now studies ancient myths and civilizations, and Bibhu Dev Mishra, an independent researcher on ancient religions, have written a variety of articles in which they make several claims to the Sphinx's origins. Despite the rather dubious credentials of the duo, they make some rather intriguing points concerning its conception. Their first claim is, of course, that the Balochistan Sphinx has features that separate it from the rest of the natural formations found in the Hingol National Park area, stating that it resembles a gigantic rock-cut architectural complex. The base of the sculpture has never been officially surveyed by archaeologists, but they believe that there is more to the area than what initially meets the eye. According to Mishra's blog, he states that a closer look shows that the Sphinx has a clear jaw, as well as clear facial features such as eyes, nose, and mouth, which appear to be perfect. One can also observe that the creature is wearing some sort of hat on its head. This headpiece is called a nemes and is identical to the garment seen on the Egyptian Sphinx. Additionally, Hancock and Mishra hypothesize that another significant hint is in the national park, very close to the alleged Sphinx. More rock formations, they claim, depict a Hindu temple in the rock face. The temple, called a mandapa, is seen with a missing roof, called a vimana. The two formations are arranged such that the Balochistan sits in front of the mandapa's entrance, almost as if it was meant to serve as its protector. Further away from the monument, they claim that the presence of Hindu habitation is supported by two more potential stone sculptures depicting the Hindu gods Kartikeya and Ganesha. They are seen standing side by side, sharing the same rock wall, with Kartikeya on the left holding a spear and Ganesha on the right. Both of these mythological figures are very important to the Hindu faith, being sons to the creator deity Shiva. The duo theorizes that because they believe that these are indeed rock carvings of Indus River Valley myth, that the Hindu temple could have been used to worship these gods in particular. If we were to play devil's advocate, however, Hancock and Mishra are construing some pretty bold statements here. Firstly, why would the early peoples of the Indus River Valley civilization be erecting monuments of an Egyptian Sphinx? During their times, the two cultures had zero contact with each other at all. If these rock formations do in fact depict Hindu iconography, it still would not explain this basic historical contradiction. Additionally, there is the simple fact that the alleged Mandapa temple and formations of Kartikeya and Ganesha are visually stretched, at best. To the untrained eye, these sites simply look like jagged outcrops on a mountainside. They don't seem to depict anything at all. Most people would agree that it is just the natural formation of a mountain. However, let's pretend for a second that there was something tangible to be seen on either of these cliff faces. There would still need to be a very big explanation as to why a Vimana, a religious site belonging to the Dravidians of southern India, would be constructed in western Pakistan. Historically, Dravidian Vimanas have never been found outside of South India, as the northern territories were inhabited by the Vedic peoples, of whom have an entirely different system of cultural beliefs. The Vedas, a group that was known to live in the northern India and Pakistan areas, worshipped a completely separate pantheon of gods entirely. Figures like Kartikeya and Ganesha were not recognized as holy within the system of religion. So, in a nutshell, the claim that Hancock and Mishra are making is that there is evidence of three entirely different cultures all creating their own monuments into the rock face, based solely on the fact that they vaguely look man-made. Another area of concern is the history of erosion in the area. If a Vimana were to have been constructed in the national park, it would have to be by the Dravidian Brahmin Puranic dynasty, of whom lived between 525 and 1010 AD. But for these monuments to have been disfigured by wind erosion, it would date them to be at least 7,500 years old. So, with all details considered, what are we to conclude about the authenticity of Hancock and Mishra's claims? Well, I believe that the two researchers are using convenient truths and mental gymnastics to try to explain how the Balochistan Sphinx could be real. Their theories rely on so much contradictory evidence that I believe the most reasonable explanation is that the rock formation is simply that, a naturally occurring geographic landmark. When investigating profound historical discoveries such as this one, people often sometimes forget to apply the Occam's razor principle, which states that if you have two competing ideas to explain the same phenomenon, you should prefer the simpler one. In this case, if the possibilities are that a massive construction project was undergone thousands of years ago by an unknown civilization to create an icon of a beast that doesn't even hold any pertinence to your own culture's beliefs, or that it is simply an impressive-looking mountain that was formed by record wind erosion in the area, it is likely that the latter option is the more probable. Nevertheless, people will continue to study the amazing rock formations of the Hingol National Park, as they are, in fact, amazing natural phenomena. After all, who can say for certain that more perplexing discoveries aren't present in the area, waiting for the right person to accidentally stumble across them one day?